I get you pay me $10 to wear this thing. It's not worth it.
What is this?
Are you kidding me? You know what this is? The Jasmine Dragon?
I get you pay me $10.
Does anyone know what this is from? If you do, I'll give you $1.
Are you
That's right.
You know what this
Avatar
is?
the Jasmine Dragon?
Do you own clothing that does not have like logos of things or people or shows?
No. Because here's my logic, ready? There's no clothes that are cooler. Maybe, and tell me if I'm wrong, chat. There's no clothes that are cooler that are free. If I could say I got it from like, oh, where'd you get that? I bought it for $2,000. That's not cool. Where'd you get that? My viewer sent this to me. You have viewers? Yeah, I'm live right now. And I point the camera at them.
You sound like a boomer dad.
Do I? I feel like I sound cool as fuck. Look how they're all saying true. They think I'm cool as hell. In this house chat, there's 4 women, okay? And they all are yelling the entire time. I cannot tell the difference between the smoke alarm going off and the women yelling. It's that piercing.
It's not the smoke alarm. It's our fire alarm that beeps. Oh my god. Our fire alarm is beeping because the battery is dead. And this is Miz in our house. He's like walking around, checking the stuff out. And then the fire alarm beeps and he goes, he did this.
Dad, I'm so cringe.
He's walking like an NPC and then he goes, beep.
It's like freeze tag.
And then I looked at him. And then he did it again like a ballet. And I was like, what the fuck?
Are you liking LA? The thing is with LA is it sucks. Right? It sucks. It's
expensive.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Soda Poppin's not here. It's not worth it. Chat, we're actually doing a podcast right now, and I thought we were gonna be at the offline TV house.
He did. Like, are you done? You know I don't live there.
Yeah, but I thought I was like, this is not the I was excited to meet Toast. So you're 25.
23.
That's a lie.
You got him.
That's a lie. You're 25 years old. That's old, chat. That's old. See, I'm 26 and I feel old,
like,
but she doesn't feel old.
It's weird to say that we're old because all of my friends are older. So are we just calling them ancient or? But I don't feel like my friends are old, and therefore I shouldn't feel like I'm old.
See, I'm friends with like Schlatt, who's 21, and then he's friends with Tommy in it, who's
21.
Yeah, we're old. You see what I mean? The more you keep going east blank and it's lower, that's when you're old. What the hell? After 21 is 22. You're not that old. I have no idea. I felt old after 25 years old. I'm like, damn, reality just set in. But I'm
girls, it's like, oh my god, I have a baby. So we have like a biological clock.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Y'all just keep nutting your whole lives, like it's nutting.
Cool.
So like, who cares? Some guys typically actually blow up. Like you're more desirable like your 30s.
Like Lakari.
What the fuck?
Huh?
I don't know, Chris. It's like,
Have you ever looked at a picture of him?
No.
Don't. Yeah, that's him. That's a horrible picture of him.
He looks like him and someone in Pope had a baby.
Means your arms look huge? Can we talk about that?
Well, what?
It's the angle. It's the lighting. It's the angle. It's also California.
In person? He looks like a toddler. Okay, not a toddler, but like a toddler and a toddler.
She thinks she's so cool. She thinks she's so cool. She literally does nothing all day. Her life is boring and meaningless. Okay, she has a cat and then she looks at plants and then she runs around her house.
The plant's not my cat.
Her cat didn't eat them. Just terrible. Oh yeah, it's fine. Working on the weekend like you. Yo, Gap Pump.
You know what's pissing me off?
Why are you smelling? It's me.
Yeah, she smells like
Throw it out. It's not. It's yogurt. Yeah, it's from American Eagle. My mom got it for me for Christmas.
You know, even if you're 26.
It's good shit. What do you want me to say?
I was gonna say, when you wear one oversized wig and hella people start thinking you're pregnant.
Thank you.
Like, either you're being rude and calling me fat, or maybe I am pregnant and want to keep it myself.
Yes.
What a weird thing to do.
That shit is annoying.
Like, you should just not ask people if you're pregnant ever.
No.
Under what circumstances do people go, yeah, I am. Thank you so much for asking. If someone's pregnant, they're gonna fucking tell you about it if they want to tell
Do you get
about
this
it.
often from like the Uber Eats driver? Like, what do you get? You don't talk to anybody.
It's internet stuff.
Oh,
It's
with you, Pokey, you blow my mind. On years of getting shit, and you're still like okay. Well, you're
Am
insane.
I?
No, you're insane. But you're like, she's like okay,
How
chat.
am I insane?
You've gotten a lot of shit, and I'm surprised you're still like mentally there.
Where would I go?
I don't know. Like, I feel like you have a good mindset.
Really?
Well, yeah, I feel like you do.
That's really nice. Thanks. That means a lot.
Yeah.
But then what do you mean I'm insane?
Oh, you're just crazy bitch. You're definitely out there. You're hanging out with me. Why would you hang out with me if you were normal?
Dude, I love this shit.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm like I come over. I'm like, do you really want me here? I'm like, is this really your house? I'm like, that was a random house. Like, hello? She's like, yeah, come in.
I love this shit. I love little fucking weirdos like you.
Why? I don't know. Chat, do you understand why she likes me? I don't get it.
Okay, contrary to popular belief, I don't really like really normie shit. That's why I was asking you, like, do you want to hang out with all?
True. She was contemplating going to like a crazy party tonight. She's like, I don't want to go. What are you gonna
Just
do?
a party or just like a get together.
But like, what do you do on the
But
average
it's like,
day?
when you tell me like, oh my god, you want to meet like Miz and Schlatt and Connor, I'm like, yeah, homies, like I love those guys. Like, do you want to meet 10 million subscriber Andy? I'm like,
So you don't want to meet Schlatt?
true. Just not, I don't know. On my type.
So
Actually, that was one of the reasons why a year ago, when it was like, what platform do you want to be on? It's like, I kind of want to stay on Twitch. Because deep down, I'm a fucking weirdo and I want to stay with my people. Whereas, I don't know.
Ariana Grande. Yeah, fuck you, Ice.
Have you spoken to him?
No, I can't. He's banned on Twitch.
You can talk to him like off the
You
Twitch.
can't do that. It's not a thing.
So,
If you're banned on Twitch, it's over. Yeah,
Dangerous territory?
yeah, it's very dangerous territory. You see your chat, it's starting to move pretty quick. But I am friends with him. I like him a lot. I wish he was unbanned, but it's Twitch being Twitch. They're never gonna unban him because he's too much of a. His chat would be like this all fucking day. But yeah, I do miss him.
I wonder what we'd have to do to get him banned.
I mean, like save an orphanage. There's just nothing the guy can do, and they'll be like, yeah, you're good to go. Because they're gonna be like, oh, you probably set the orphanage on fire. So why does this look Jack? I know. Look at that. I couldn't take my.
He wants to flex in front of you guys because he really likes my lighting, so he's trying to take advantage of this.
Can you blame a man?
I'm okay with that, yeah.
I mean, I flex my arms. You get up from your chair. We both have our thing.
I made you get up from your chair today too.
What if I did?
Like, I can't imagine, I don't know, being a guy and sitting down and like sitting like this.
You know,
Guys,
he does that.
you! When do I?
Yo.
The beginning of the stream, right, chat? Don't. This is gaslighting.
Oh, with my pants.
Yes, like with shorts on and you're doing this.
Well, guys.
You might as well start an OnlyFans.
So,
Not these small.
Contact with enemy.
guys.
Enemy down.
Boxers or underwear sometimes rides up on us.
Reloading.
Oh, I mansplained.
Manspreading. Is that the word?
Menstruating. Menstruating? This?
No, that's I think both are correct.
Everyone at Lud's house is so cool. Even Lud, dare I say. He lent me his car, which is shit. Like, if I crash that thing,
It's a Rolls Royce.
no, it's a fucking chat.
Well, I'm trying to do him a favor.
No, I don't need to do him a favor. He can just buy a car if he wants to. His car is, what is it, like a 2000
Enemy
Sciatica.
contact.
Alright, I'm gonna host you. I'm sorry about that. Like, it's surprising to Lud, because Lud's very much like a really nice car, a nice everything kind of guy. He has a shit car. His not just the same.
What can you get to get rid of
Changing.
explode?
I got you.
Attracted all these people.
So, no, I got you. Watch this. Ready?
Yeah.
You get ham or I got plans. Let it right? Plate. Just go around and grab them all.
Easy.
That's what I did. Yeah. Do his makeup? I don't need it. I'm already pretty. You know? Let's talk about it. Chat, if you don't know, I'm her cousin, and I'm getting neck placement hormone therapy.
Target's inside.
Pretty much, it's like they freeze my neck, and then they freeze the fat on my neck, and I swallow it, and it's $2,000.
Oh, you swallow Kybella?
I think so. It goes down your throat.
You're trolling.
I may be lying about that, but it goes down your throat anyway. So then it's like down your throat. Seen some people message me.
I'm the fucking best. I'm out here doing work. Look at this.
You're fucking baiting.
Look at this.
When aren't I? My whole life is fishing in chat and trying to get a motion.
Side.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the business meeting.
Okay.
The business meeting chat was to come talk about that.
Okay.
Well, we'll find a letter in between. That sounds terrible.
Meant to be. Yeah. Like if I were to say, Ms. Maya.
Shipping, that's actually really cool. I don't fucking know.
What does OTK stand for?
One True King.
One true thing.
Well, because we're all guys.
What if you guys out of it?
That's not gonna happen. I've added them.
Contact enemy.
What did he
Yeah,
say?
people think about it.
We're all guys.
What if you guys out of it?
That's not gonna happen. I've added them as my leader.
I'll leave them to me for you. That's good content. Yeah, maybe we'll think about it.
I'll get the papers.
I would never, but then would you
I would never, but
OTKQ? OTKAQ? And
count. You can do whatever. You can just name it Pokeland. I'll be like, all right, you know what? Chat and bar Pokeland. And everyone will be like, I like your chat.
you like my chat?
No, because they're my chat.
I like chat right now because they're both of our chats.
We have a very
They're
similar
like the
chat.
Niceys.
No,
We share a lot of audience,
we do.
which means there must be like a reason that we have in common that people like to watch us. What do you think it is?
We both get up from our chair a lot. I really don't know. Why do you
Why
watch?
would people want to watch Miz and me? You're both dumb.
Oh, okay. No, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Come on, hurry.
Height. I like to watch anybody who's 5'2".
I'm tall. All right, let's put this to rest. All right.
Why is your shoulder lower than mine?
Put it to rest. She's taller than me.
Why are you literally so small?
Put it to rest.
Oh my god, take him off. My shoulder's sore.
We lost the lead.
I mean, you can already tell here that I'm taller than him.
You really should. We didn't have to get up.
Oh, I was gonna say, so 2 years ago, when I remember the WoW stream, I remember at the end, Colt was like, you lost so much progress. And I was like, like a dumbass. And I was like, wait, no, I didn't, right?
No, that was fun.
But then, throughout, like, the year after, he would just farm LSF clips of me. And it was weird because, like, we would have, like, a couple conversations off stream where he was, like, sucking my straight up schlong. Like, oh my god, Pokemon, I don't want to see. And then on LSF, he's like, haha, Pokemon.
Get down. Sniper.
And so I would message him, and I was like, hey, like, I didn't
Renato.
really appreciate this.
We meet
Hello,
again.
Matthew. I hope you are having a good day.
Get down.
This joke made me uncomfortable. And then he'd be like, oh my god, my queen, I'm so He's a fiend for the upvotes. Like, he's a fiend.
Nah, just leak everything. This is fun.
And so I think that was
Yo.
friend, but I think
Snipe. I'm not doing
That's the
this one
problem
because
with me.
I'm
I
not
don't
paying
know
attention.
boundaries, so I just say whatever, and I say what you need to say, you know? So I say it, and then I live and learn. And she has a lot of boundaries.
I don't think I have that many.
You have 2 that I learned. Maybe 3. True, yeah, we weren't friends. I like hung out with her one time, and I'm like, oh, I hung out with Koki once, nonstop. And I did.
Alright, I'm gonna go in there now.
A lot.
And I was like, this is not it. Don't think that you can have, not that there's like benefits, but people sometimes do think I'm drawing my fucking line here. I remember one yeah, back then I really would do anything for some LSF upvotes. But now I'm kind of over it. And so I just gave him some time, and I think now he knows how to be a better friend.
That's true, Chad. Let's be real. Over time, I've gotten less caring about live stream fails, and I focused more on myself and my other outlets of life, and it's just not really anything I care about. It's about the content, and also just off-screen stuff. Honestly, I told my chat, listen to this, ready? I said that you're one of my favorite people to hang out with on stream. But I was very scared of you because you're a big Pokemon, scary, right? And also scared of you. I'm telling you, be terrified, okay? Trust me. To whom it may concern, I recently saw this live where you tried to fawn me. And I was like, oh my god,
I actually think it would be
Dude, I
so
caught
hard
up to them.
You know this conversation still getting mixed on. So I was making YouTube videos about streamers. Yeah, the story of, right? And then I made one on Mitch Jones, and Soda reacted to it. I uploaded it, and it got like a million views. Soda does not want to be seen as a React Andy, and you need to take it down. And I'm like, but I'm like, I want my $2,000. I made money on it. And then he had a fight. He's like, you're never gonna be anything if you stand behind these streamers. Like, you gotta make your own path, and you're doing nothing. I'm like, I was crying. I was miserable.
I actually cried.
I was getting shit on by Nick. It was terrible. Nick isn't a good person. That's not true. Nick just likes to shit on people he doesn't know. But if you're Nick's friend, he'll do anything for you. But before that, I didn't know him. But you, I was scared. Pokemon. Twitch. Your friend is also big on Twitch. Russell, shut the fuck up. Russell, shut the fuck up, alright? Russell just said he would not be afraid. Russell, I remember at TwitchCon, she had 3 bodyguards around her. You saw her, and you ran away. You walked away because you did not want to go near. I shut the hell up. I remember that, alright?
But how did you know they're bodyguards?
I don't know. I thought they were doing bodyguards. Let's go.
They're kind of busting.
Russell's like, I'm out of here. It's like, I have school tomorrow at 2 o'clock p.m. Alright, well, Nick, I'm sorry you're out of the show this week. Pokemon's gonna join. I have my list. I'm not so far. What's the smallest concert in the world? It's not Mars.
Enemy contact.
You're perfect. That's exactly how showed is. Please close your chats.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what
Last one,
up?
Australia. Thanks, mods.
These is easy wins, easy wins.
And he said,
No, I did not. No, I did not. No, I did not.
2 dogs and a picket fence.
No.
And I'm gonna be nursing my 4th son.
Oh my God, no. I do not want a 4th son. Okay. One miskipped son is more than enough. I can't
One
imagine.
mischief in the world's more than enough. Please
Imagine the
reproduce.
ADHD in my son.
What the fuck?
My
Find a
son is gonna
cocaine.
have the craziest ADHD. The second
Get
he's
me
out
out
of
of
the camera.
here!
100%. He's gonna be a content
You're a
fiend.
vlogger now.
All right, you want to end it?
No, there's 30 more minutes.
I have to go. I have to go.
You don't.
Why do you're
said
keeping me hostage?
PM.
PM,
Where did all this stuff come from?
do
What the
not,
hell?
if you touch me one more time, I swear to God, all I do is cash out. I will message Pluto.
I swear to God, all I do is cash out. No.
What the fuck, Pokey?
What?
I got these for you.
Aww.
Oh my God, you scared the shit out of me. My flowers!
My flowers.
Hey, if you're watching this channel, you're probably not subscribed, because about 50% of you guys are not subscribed. And if you want my cat to eat this month, I suggest you do so. I could comb away my trouble. Oh, Emperor Lemon? I'm down.
But all I have is trouble without a hat to wear.
The Wizard of Oz and the Dark Side of Hollywood.
I could use a brush for hours and clog the drains of showers. If I only had some hair.
Fuck that shit. This is what gave me nightmares every single night when I was sleeping, is this stupid ass sound. I'm trying to watch Full House or George Lopez, and I just wake up in the middle of the night hearing this shit.
Ooh. I want to play another game, but I feel like every time I play a game, the download resets. So I don't want to play a game.
Not attempt to flee or seek shelter. Resistance is futile.
Oh boy.
I prompt
Not
my
in Florida anymore.
my mobile,
Wait, is this Emperor Lemon?
I am Dr. Spyro.
because for some reason my mobile has more
Welcome to Green Screen City.
Hey,
has more data output than my Wi-Fi for some reason. Because my Wi-Fi is in a really weird spot. I don't think
Pay
it
no
reaches me
attention
really
to the
well.
man behind the curtain. You were brought here because you wished for your hair back.
Wait, I can tell where this is going. Are you really doing this again? Were the 4 other times not enough?
Pay no attention to the 4 other ads I've done for this product. I put a lot of work into this one. Just look at all these zany green screen effects.
Wow. You sold out, man. What happened to you? You used to be cool.
You want to know what's cool? Having hair. You should know, considering that pathetic little song you were singing just 2
Yikes.
minutes ago.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was just being bitter because I didn't discover Keeps until it was too late.
Silence! I was prepared to grant you Keeps' 90% effectiveness at reducing and stopping the symptoms of hair loss. I was prepared to connect you with an online doctor and have your order shipped right to your door.
Bro, they have targeted YouTube ads nowadays. Is this really how it is? Is it really 50% off?
But now, your insolence has made me reconsider. You don't deserve the most affordable FDA-approved hair loss product.
Did you guys just want me to watch this just so I could get that ad and be done with this?
Wait, no. Please save my hair. I'll do anything.
Silence! You had your chance to visit
Oh, I already put Rogaine on today.
Keeps.com/emplemon for 50% off your first order. But now, you're doomed to lose all the rest of your hair.
You're supposed to put it on twice a day, but that seems like so much work. So I'm just putting it on once. That's it, and we'll see what happens.
And wind up like my cousin, Dr. Oz. I command you to leave this place immediately.
Oh, what a world! What a world!
The Wizard of Oz is one of the most iconic films in the history of cinema. According to the Library of Congress, it's the single
I
most
should be
watched
able to
film
play
of all
right now.
time.
It's also my favorite part of any raid in World of Warcraft. I love in Karazhan, this is where everyone falls asleep, where they did. Oh my God, Billy and Mandy's such a great show.
Very few artistic works from the 1930s have managed to persist within the public consciousness.
Damn right.
But even now,
Take
I'm
it
gonna be real with you. I
forever.
hate this song nowadays. Everyone uses this song for their intro, outro, inside, outside, USA. I'm so sick of it. I get it. Tommy Innit blew up. This is just fucking annoying.
82 years later, most of you watching know exactly who these characters are. Far less known, however, are the people behind these characters. Principal photography
Wait, there's
for The
people
Wizard of
behind them?
Oz lasted from October 1938 to March 1939. During these
Free
5
for all.
months, the stars of the movie were
Weak.
subject to some of the most horrendous conditions in the history of the American film industry. When it was all said and done, not a single character who set off down the yellow brick road left the land of Oz unscathed.
Fight the crowd even harder than England. Whole America is in a desperate fight.
That's not to say that things were much better back home in Kansas. The 1930s were a period of major turmoil and hardship for the American. The Great Depression ravaged almost every sector of the economy. While most Americans were struggling, the film industry was booming. To escape from the dread of everyday life, most Americans sought refuge in the cinema. Nowadays, about 1 in 10 Americans have gone to the movies in the past week. In the 30s, however, it was not uncommon for half of all Americans to play in theaters.
Dude, movie theaters were the shit. They were the best part of America, baby. That Blockbuster, Radio Shack, Toys R Us, and they're all gone. And you fucked it up, America.
Hollywood was in the midst of its golden age, a period where studios had unparalleled influence over the industry. During this time, the top 8 studios controlled 95% of American cinema, and no studio was more illustrious than MGM. They were the studio widely considered to provide audiences with the biggest stars and the grandest spectacles. MGM smoked the rest of Hollywood with its unmatched financial and critical success. Across the 30s, MGM films accounted for nearly a
Why
third
can't
of
I
the
hit him?
Best Picture, and
Damn.
nearly 3/4 of the total profits generated by all 8 major studios. MGM's dominance over Hollywood was due largely to the strong leadership of its chief executive, Louis B. Mayer, who in 1937 was the highest paid man in America.
Fuck you.
1937 also saw the release of one of the most groundbreaking films ever made, and one of the most successful films of the time to not come out of history. That year, Walt Disney would release his first animated feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The film was a fantasy unlike anything audiences had ever seen, and by the following year it had become the highest-grossing. Snow White's record-breaking success inspired MGM to produce a spectacular fantasy of their own. In 1938, the studio bought out the rights to L. Frank Baum's children's novel, and the rest was history. A history that the members of the cast and crew wish they could forget. Unlike Snow White, The Wizard of Oz was entirely live action, which presented a series of challenges while attempting to transform fantasy into reality. One of the most iconic...
I hate live action. I'm
Easy.
so mad that Avatar was
Yeah,
Avatar, I don't remember what it was. Avatar, whatever it was. Why couldn't they just make it into a sick-ass movie? Why was it such crap? That was still probably the most disappointing of my entire life, was that movie alone. When I went with my friends, I was more excited than anything ever. And I went and I saw that movie, and I was disappointed for the rest of my life. And I became
The all of cinema is Dorothy waking up in the land of Oz, and the film transitioning from sepia to color. The official coloring method used...
I still think Avatar: Last Airbender is the best show of all time. And I've watched My Hero Academia and Hunter x Hunter.
to develop the film
It
was
does stop
Technicolor,
when you-
which required heavy exposure due to the process of splitting the image into different colored channels.
Yo, Master Yoshi, can you help me out with this one?
As a result, the Oz set required an exorbitant amount of lighting, so much so that the temperature on stage often surpassed 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They found this suffocating, and stagehands frequently had to be carried off stage after fainting. The set lighting was so intense that some actors even claimed to suffer permanent vision damage. The exhaustion suffered from the oppressive heat was only magnified by the arduous production schedule. For 6 days a week, the actors walked into the studio at 4 a.m. and didn't leave until 7 p.m. A significant part of each actor's day was dedicated to the meticulous preparation and removal of their costumes. The Scarecrow, Tin Man, and
fuck
Cowardly
that
Lion
shit.
are one of the most recognizable trios in fiction.
If Dude, imagine we did this, but Tim was Tim, the Tin Man. I had nothing.
All three characters were brought to life by the skilled design of makeup artist Jack Dawn, while the costumes presented an impeccable external appearance.
Honestly, Tim could be this guy too.
Conditions weren't so pleasant on.
Who would be this girl though? I don't fucking know. I have no idea who this girl. I don't know who you would be either, honestly. Like, who would be the girl? Not me. That wouldn't work, you idiots. Emeru, shut up. You literally are one-track minded.
The inside. Every morning as the Scarecrow, Ray Bolger would have to spend an hour getting his latex and plastic mask painstakingly glued to his face, and every evening he would spend an hour getting it removed. The mask completely covered his facial pores, meaning that he was physically unable to sweat while wearing it. One could only imagine how it must have felt to wear that thing for 15 hours a day, but Ray Bolger didn't have to imagine. For 22 weeks, it was his reality. By the time filming was complete, the repeated applications of the mask left Bolger with permanent grooves around his mouth and chin.
Oh my god!
But considering what happened to some of the other actors, he may have gotten off easy. The Tin Man was played by Buddy Ebsen for about 9 days. That's how long he lasted during filming until he was hospitalized from a severe reaction to the Tin Man's metallic makeup. Ebsen's silver face paint was made out of aluminum powder that would eventually coat the inside of his lungs, nearly asphyxiating him. As Ebsen sat bedridden under an oxygen tent in the hospital, the studio was not Producer Mervyn Leroy repeatedly phoned the hospital and insisted that Ebsen return to set. After 2 weeks out of action, the studio replaced Ebsen with much like Pete Best getting cut from the Beatles. Buddy Ebsen would end up becoming one of the unluckiest men in show business. Not only was he unceremoniously fired from what would have been the biggest role of his career, the incident left him with chronic bronchitis. Jack Haley managed to avoid a catastrophic reaction to the aluminum makeup, but it still gave him a severe eye infection that forced him out of work. In order to rest in between takes, he was forced to lean and recline. But despite all the complications it caused, the Tin Man costume may have still been preferable to that of the power. Burt Lahr's lion suit was compared to carrying around a mattress. The bulk of the costume consisted of a 60-pound lion hide, a real lion hide, combined with additional padding, so as to put the weight of the full costume at 100 pounds. Burt Lahr would become drenched in sweat after just a few minutes.
He'd be ripped as fuck after 6 months though.
And he would frequently have to take off the suit between shots to avoid exhaustion.
No
The prosthetic mask covering his face didn't allow him to fully open his mouth, forcing him to consume all of his on-set meals through a straw. Halfway through production, Lahr gave in and sacrificed an additional hour each day so that he could eat solid food at lunch. As someone who was known by his peers to be a hypochondriac, Burt Lahr was in near constant agony. But by far the worst costume-related accident during the whole shoot happened to Margaret Hamilton, better known as the Wicked Witch. Nowadays, there are lots of ways to make someone look green, but in 1938, the only tried-and-true method used by Hollywood makeup artists was copper paint. Copper, of course, is toxic when ingested by humans. This was known back then, but the studio showed no restraint in applying the copper concoction directly to Hamilton's face and hands. Towards the end of production, Hamilton realized that the constant application of his makeup had tinted her skin green, an effect that lingered for months after the job. Wearing the makeup on set, once it was on, Hamilton was unable to touch anything without staining it, and required assistance to perform the most basic of tasks. Strength of the makeup would pale in comparison to the accident she suffered on December 23, 1938. When departing Munchkinland, Hamilton was scripted to exit the scene in a fiery cloud of smoke. The first attempt at the stunt went flawlessly, but director Victor Fleming wanted to get a few extra takes for insurance. On the fourth attempt, the pyrotechnics were ignited too early, causing Hamilton to be engulfed in flames. The accident resulted in second-degree burns on the whole right side of her face. The skin on her right hand was entirely scalded off. But before Hamilton could even receive medical attention, she had to slowly and excruciatingly have the copper makeup removed from her freshly burned skin with rubbing alcohol. Margaret Hamilton would spend the next 6 weeks in the hospital before returning to the set. On her very first day back, she was scheduled for the Skywalk, another stunt involving pyrotechnics. Hamilton adamantly refused to put herself anywhere near fire again and threatened to walk out of the production right then and there.
That's right.
Since the project was nearing completion at that point, the studio acquiesced, and the scene was completed using Hamilton's stunt double, Betty Danko. While filming that very scene, the smoke pipe underneath the broomstick exploded, and Danko was violently flung from the installation. The explosion was caused by the special effects crew coating the pipe with asbestos, another toxic substance once thought to be an all-purpose wonder material. Asbestos was also used in Ray Bolger's scarecrow suit as well as the snow in the poppy field scene.
Unusual weather we're having, ain't it?
Betty Danko was
Ew,
hospitalized
ew,
for 11
ew.
days within...
Wait, that's asbestos flying instead of snow?
Unusual
Oh my god.
weather we're having, ain't it?
Betty Danko was hospitalized for 11 days with internal damage from the explosion, as well as a 2-inch deep gash on her leg.
Oh my god, 2 inches, De Loca.
A wound that would never fully heal. It was a hefty
2-inch gap, chat.
toll for a day in which she $800. The long-term
And people say they have it bad nowadays with minimum wage. Come on.
health effects on Margaret Hamilton were far less known. What is known is that she would go on to develop Alzheimer's later in her life, a condition that has been linked to copper poisoning. In total, 6 performers on The Wizard of Oz faced some kind of serious physical trauma. Not even Toto left the set in
Don't do this to me. Toto was forced out of action for 2 weeks with a sprained foot after one of the witch's guards accidentally stepped on him.
tact. However, after enough time had passed, many of the actors could look back on the whole ordeal as a bunch of amusing war stories. Most physical ailments are only temporary. Mental ailments, on the other hand, tend to stick with you for life. And out of everyone in the Land of Oz, perhaps none suffered a worse fate than the star of the show, Judy Garland. She was without a doubt one of the most talented performers of the 20th century. Her portrayal of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz has served as an enduring symbol of youth and innocence, and even though she was never imprisoned by a brutal costume like the other actors, the studio paid no less scrutiny to her appearance. Since the character of Dorothy was envisioned as a prepubescent girl, the then 17-year-old Garland had to constantly wear
Chat, you want to take those boobas back?
a tight corset to hide her more mature figure, but that was merely one aspect of the studio's efforts to keep her thin. Garland was placed on a shoestring diet, one that would not provide her with enough energy to complete the arduous filming days. To compensate, the studio kept Garland on a steady intake of amphetamines to keep her working long into the day. The amphetamines subsequently necessitated the use of barbiturates to prevent Garland from exhausting herself. Years later, she claimed that during some periods
They'd give us pills to keep us on our feet long after we were exhausted. Then they'd take us to the studio hospital and knock us out with sleeping pills. Then after 4 hours, they'd wake us up and give us the pep pills again, so we could work 72 hours in a row.
she would only sleep 4 hours every 3 days.
That literally is what streaming is nowadays.
The fact that she was able to perform as well as she did under these conditions is nothing short of astonishing. By the end of production, Garland was addicted to both drugs, an addiction that would last for the rest of her life. It certainly didn't help that her time as a child star directly contributed to deep-rooted psychological problems. Despite her brilliance as a performer, Garland was always encumbered by major esteem issues. The insecurities began when a 14-year-old Garland overheard the MGM executives referring to her as a fat little pig. This moment completely devastated her self-image and manifested itself as an unobtainable standard of perfection that she spent her whole life chasing. And even though she would wind up becoming one of the greatest performers ever, in her mind it was never good enough. In many ways, Judy Garland was the first tragic child star, an archetype that has sadly become much more common in modern times. Clinical psychiatrist John Linden encountered many such patients while practicing in the Los Angeles area. He observed that premature stardom resulted in many child actors forming severe identity issues. They tended to report a feeling of profound emptiness when they weren't performing, as if they were marionettes whose true selves lacked any sort of meaning. The reason so many young stars end up on the downward spiral is that many fail to develop any sense of individual identity. Some attempt to fill this void with sex, drugs, and alcohol, but it's often no match for the constant anxiety of never really understanding who you are. There exists a tragic irony between Judy Garland and Dorothy, a character who wanted to control and find joy in the world. Unlike Dorothy, however, Judy Garland never made it over the rainbow. On June 22nd, 1969,
Chat, don't worry about it. One Tup's never gonna make it over 200 viewers, alright? He's fine.
Judy Garland was found dead of an overdose on the bathroom floor. She was just 47 years old. In the years leading up to her death, her increasingly erratic downfall was treated by the media as some sort of morbid spectacle. The American public seemed unable to reconcile how she could have possibly been anyone other than the innocent farm girl from Kansas. Hollywood has the remarkable ability to make the wildest parts of our imagination come to life. But the magic of crafting immersive fantasies comes with a very real dark side. Oftentimes it's easy for studios to lose sight of the real-life human beings at their disposal and to end up treating them as, well, marionettes. It would be easy to look back at all the trauma from The Wizard of Oz and chalk it up to a product of its time. Back then, studios could just get away with all of it because if any actor fought back,
I knew very well if I sued, I would never work again in any studio.
they would be black.
I knew very well that if I cheated and I didn't tell Miskiff, I would never work on another OTK show again.
Listed from the industry. But still, even after the studio's iron grip over the industry was broken and actors gained more leverage over their careers, it would be naive to suggest that much has changed in Hollywood. The inner workings of the film industry have always been an enigma. The history of Hollywood is smeared with talented people guilty of terrible things. Very rarely do we ever get to discover what truly goes on behind the big green curtain. Out of every scandal that does come to light, we can only imagine what remains in the dark. In the business of telling the biggest stories possible, the smaller stories often get left behind. For 22 weeks in 1938 and 1939, 6 of Hollywood's most talented actors were practically tortured, with many of them experiencing long-lasting and permanent damage to their bodies and minds. The result was one of the single greatest artistic works of the 20th century. The Wizard of Oz was the defining career achievement for every single person who worked on it. Their suffering had directly contributed to the most beloved film of a generation. It's tempting to dismiss everything you've heard today as an exploitative cash grab from greedy media tyrants, but for MGM, it was never that simple. In 1939, MGM released 41 films in total, premiering a new movie once every 9 days on average.
Holy fuck.
At this time, the studio had no shortage of revenue. What they coveted instead was prestige. Every year, MGM would earmark one production as their prestige film, a project that was never intended to turn a profit, but one that existed for the simple purpose of flexing the cinematic might of the studio. From its very conception, The Wizard of Oz was designed as a monument to the single most dominant empire in the history of the film industry. 35 years after the film's release, toy executive Marty Abrams was conducting market research on local children and found that 80% recognized the characters of Oz. Today, memorabilia attached to these characters now sell for millions at auction. Over the years, the performers who brought these characters to life have gradually faded from public memory, their sacrifices ultimately forgotten. Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, and the Wicked Witch have managed to outlive them. Such is the ultimate destiny of people in show business.
Fuck!
Actors are tragically temporary. Eventually, only the characters remain. Today, it may seem unfathomable that our most popular and celebrated actors will inevitably meet this fate.
That's not true!
But at the end of the day, it is art, not the artist, which stands the test of time. Despite the turmoil suffered by the actors on the set of Oz, one has to wonder if any of them ever regretted it.
It always begs the question, chat. Is fame and fortune worth your sanity? And the answer
3,500 years ago, the ancient Egyptians completed the Great Pyramid of Giza, a structure so remarkably ambitious that it would stand as the tallest building on Earth until the Middle Ages. For millennia, archaeologists found it inconceivable.
Timmy Turner skateboarded down that.
Unbelievable that it could have been constructed by any other means than a massive workforce of slave labor.
Shut up,
The pyramid
Everyone
defied
say
our
it,
expectations to such an extent that some people believe it had to have resulted from supernatural or extraterrestrial influence. However, recent archaeological studies have uncovered a truth that is somehow even more unbelievable. The vast majority of people who built the Great Pyramid were volunteers.
Whoa.
The ancient Egyptians risked life and limb to participate in something greater than themselves. Their reward for 20 years of deadly back-breaking labor is that we still talk about them today, long after everything they knew and loved ceased to exist. What would you be willing to sacrifice if it meant you could live forever? Since the dawn of civilization, man...
Nothing. I'm letting you know right now, chat, I don't want to live... I think the idea of living forever is so dumb. I don't get it. If you think that you understand what forever is, forever, but then that's here, then you have to remember that there's the rest of time forever, and if you could think for that time, it's still about right here. That's forever. Why the fuck would you want to live forever? I mean, you're already bored now, 12 hours of the day. Why would you want to be bored? You're going to be bored forever. Is that what he means? That's what I'm saying. People think that they want to live forever. Like, heaven sounds terrible. Does it not? You're like, oh, what up, grandma? What up, grandpa? What's going on? Like, you know, have some video games going. And then you're like, all right, now what? Like, I'm here. You know, it's gonna get boring after like 10 minutes. Especially in heaven. Just think about it. That's not where the content is. The content is in hell. That's where all the content is. That's where all the people are that are fucked up. That's where all the people are that are all the content. Dude, everyone's boring as fuck in heaven. You know this shit. Hell's where all the crazy shit's going down nonstop. That's where I want to go.
Mankind has sought the secret to immortality. We can only wonder if science or religion will ever help us achieve eternal life. But at the very least, art can get us all to that place.
What does Mr. Championship?
Be relevant. Of course it's a good vid. It's Emperor Lemon. What kind of question is that?
Diego got fed up with the spam and moved the podcast over to his own channel where he could disable question.
Are you saying we're all gay? Because like,
I'm saying
we gotta eat with plastic.
I'm saying
forks.
this is like an oak tree. This is like an oak tree. There's rings in it that show the amount of experience, of what's called experience for the sake of Twitch. Just trust me, eating pussy's gay and sucking dick is straight. It's that simple. It's that.
I'm gonna say that fucking eating with a fork is gay.
Wait, so would you say that you swallowed your dad's cum since you probably kissed your mom on her cheek before and you know your dad's left a fat fucking load on her face? Is that like the same type of science
I mean,
you apply there?
honestly, that was made to disgust me, but that's kind of fucking hot to be honest.
Wow!
Like I spent like I don't know, I spent like an hour or two like thinking about this shit before the stream.
Are you
No, like
it's almost like talking about like a character in Balance, and he said the phrase, "Just if you're."
How about you, Europe?
I would ask him why the fuck you didn't make my dick so goddamn.
What would you ask from God?
Why?
You know what?
What did I do?
You know what? Save that. Save that. You should ask a different question because Marie already asked him that question.
What's poppin', Tappy? What's going on, man?
I love Val Kilmer Batman. I loved him. I loved the Val Kilmer Batman. It was so fun.
I'm out here just fucking winning games, dude.
To a rose, whatever. What's it called?
Now, one thing if I
I'm out here taking these kids out.
Hey, asshole. I hate when you do that, Triax. I hate when you do that.
I fucking love that.
They got nothing on your boy. They got nothing on your boy. You listen to me?
Fuck.
What the fuck? 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 What the fu
Wait, what?
You have been banned from participating in livestream fail. You can still view and subscribe to livestream fail, but you won't be able to post or comment. Note from the moderators. Hey, asshole.
Oh wait, they banned you.
What?
30 minutes later, LaCroix finally realizes what happened.
Why?
Hey, asshole. It's like after the podcast, we're just sitting there. Wait!
6 to 8 hours daily, give or take, and that I either am, my offers, I'm either getting.
You go onto Twitch and you look at like the top 50 most popular female streamers, you've got like...
Wait, are there 50 female streamers?
3 gamers and 47 sets of massive breasts.
Yes.
Like,
That was my earlier point. That was my earlier point.
Thank you. No way this was a scuffed pod. Oh, this is really a scuffed podcast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people on a scuffed it. This is why I never joined the scuffed podcast. It's because, bro, Train keeps it on a stacked, literally stacked of people.
We have XQC, I think, Richard.
Like, it's just way too much. I feel like I'm watching the Raj show.
Are you familiar with XQC, Richard?
XQC tuning in from an airplane.
Wait, is it my webcam mic or something?
Yeah, it's definitely your webcam
Dude,
mic.
loud.
Holy
Show you why.
So, do you know how to get
See if I can get into a rank.
Really? What does that mean? I'm kidding. I was copying the clip. What does juice mean? Was that Andy? Who was that in the clip? What's juice? Who was that?
There's a reason why it's banned everywhere. I mean, banned in like video games or whatever, like I think CS or whatever, or even in the watch league we had a supposed drug test we never took, right?
Just ranked is so dead at this time.
This is good.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall announce the first winner of the night. The category is most low W's.
I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll be right back. Probably gonna come back and play some PUBG. I think that's gonna be better for me right now. No. Now let's do Wild Rift. Let's see if we can get some Wild Rift. I'll be right back.